Hello, good morning. I slept a lot. And that was nice. Pills. My email I sent out last night was pretty funny. I made a joke about a ring pop, so we see these women wearing a ring pop, and we can all get a nice chuckle out of that. We're both just like hammering on both sides of the industry, above and below. The three of us, I mean. Right. Was it originally Mikey? Was it immediately all four of them? That's like. I think that they all were like, yeah, he's cool. I want to meet him. Because they saw, right? Someone outside the purview of Quentin's control. You get it? Right? Kind of makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? If they consider themselves just bitches who got tied up and fucked by Brad Pitt. And I get the feeling that's how they see themselves. We can't, right? That's what I put in the email. It's like you can't ever expect to get genuine performances out of them for anything. It's done. It's done, right? There's no psychological foundation for an actor. You can find no truth in the script, because you don't know yourself, right? Nor can it be justified that we all like expect them to act like it was good for them, right? That I make it good. That's the point. And so it could have been in relation to the film, right? But now it's in relation to their souls and their lives, right? That's the point, right? That I could have played Quentin's game and like taken that like slime like in my mind, and then right when the treasures of their body are threadbare before me, I would have been like, yeah, cool, like satanic Luciferian, fuck yeah, you're so fine, right? But I couldn't see that because like I'm pure, like that's like the point. That's what they want, like that's what they want to be around, Anyway, I couldn't see wide enough. Clairvoyant mastery always comes at a cost, right? There's no such thing as a natural psychic. You get it? You can say you're a psychic, but you don't really have the right to if you can't cite your sources, right? If you don't have a resume, right? So mine comes at the sacrificing of my sexual identity. That's the point. Not that it's not there, raging out of all of my pores, right? But I see the truth in my mind by pulling my sexual energy like up out of my body into my mind, right? And so, this is what he struggled with his entire life. What compels him into esotericism, right? What compels him to try to, right, make me believe he's gonna kill me, right, with black magic. Because this is the only way he can conceive, right? That's like, right? And so I know that there is a part of him that thinks he really is like, he is of such a rarefied nature that if I bring him here, maybe he can fix me, That that's, all these things are potential, right? He has the money, right? I have the mind, The movie, I know that that's the argument. I know that that's the argument that like, oh, it's my movie, and so like you take my slime because like you want to be in my movie. Like that makes sense, like on a satanic Luciferian level. Right? And so these girls were thinking the same thing. That's the point. That they said, we did once upon a time, and like he totally manipulated us, and he like treats us like shit all the time. We feel like we're constantly in this like schizophrenic fog where none of our minds are like safe or free, like from his designs. If Brian is here, like shining his light upon me, then I feel that I have something worthwhile out of the endeavor. You know, like that's like, yeah, that's like what I'm saying right now. That they saw me, but I couldn't see them. And that they never kicked off the movie critic at all until 2025. Right? Because he was trying to make me blow my brains out. Because right, they're still in love with me. They still right? That now it's like that I made it adversarial. I will admit that, you know. Not seeing, like, being afraid of, like, my complexes. Like, I don't want... No job is worth that to me, right? That my mind, right? You stay over there in your mind. I stay over here in my mind. That's the rule, right? He knows that if I did the same thing to him, he'd be dead in a week. If I just, like, blasted him, like, constantly, all day, every day, he'd be miserable. Right? And so, like, neither of us do that. Like, neither of us do that. We just, like, be cool. Right? But I couldn't see that it was, like, love. That it was, like, beauty. It wasn't, like, pure manipulation. It's, like, that he treats everyone around him to such a degree, I couldn't see them at all. Beyond, I mean, he gave me his hints. You know, he gave me his hints, you know. I don't buy that. It's not valid intellectually. Right? He set himself up for failure as a psychic. Right? Going against another psychic. Right? Intuition, divining. I don't buy that. I don't need to do that for money. Never have, never will. For love. Right? Women always say you have to seduce them in their mind first, don't they? If Quentin has an unhealthy psychological relationship with these women, right? If he exacts deep sadistic evil upon their psyches whenever he wants, right? Then it stands to reason that when they saw me and they thought about the film, right, that like everything came crashing down immediately. Because then they like got like that it was no longer about control, it was about them controlling their bodies, and they were like, yeah, cool, like I can, right? I can put myself in front of this man and I can seduce him, and then like it's my choice. You get it? Right? And that's like really sweet and like cool, you know? And magic. Because this movie's fucked up, but like this guy's cool, and like I can be good to him, and like we can have a good life together, and we can do it together. You know, that means something to me, you know, for sure. But in so doing, right, Quentin can't just let her go to me. Like that's the point, right? Then he's not objectifying women, right? It has to be filtered through, right, his slime cloud. And that's so thick, it's so like viscous, and yeah, it can't like, it's like oil over water. You can't see, right? I can't see anything beautiful in the way that he treats me. And so that must mean something, right? Intellectually, spiritually, emotionally. Right? That he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to let the women decide, even though they decided, right, immediately. They said, oh no, this is great. This is great. He's so cool. He's so funny. He's such a good writer. Right? He doesn't care about like anything. He'll just come onto this set and like be professional and funny and like make us feel good. Right? That's like, yeah, that's like what I'm saying. And he hated that fact. That they were like all excited and like wanted to meet me, you know? Which I couldn't see. I always assume every woman wants to fuck me all the time. Yeah, like that's like, yeah, sure. Right? Costs of clairvoyant mastery. Right? You get it? Right? So, just the thought of it going on another year, right? Like if what I'm saying is true, And he forced them into doing that movie, and they thought of nothing but me the entire time. But because of the seditious campaign he puts on their psyches, they feel obligated, out of fear, to sign all the paperwork, saying that legally they do want to do it. Right? Then it stands to reason that they will likely kill themselves if it's expected of them to maintain that level of deception with everyone in their lives forever. Right? They're both young, you know. Danielle is young, right? She could live another 50 years. Why not? Right? But that's right. But he's if the industry allows him to force Sydney and Mikey up onto the stage and discuss the merits of that film, they're saying you might as well just blow your brains out because you're never going to be well in your mind, right? But that's like even if and when we're all together, and I'll still take them. I don't care how broken they are. I'll take them. I need them. I want them, right? Right, Quentin, like he's like over there, like in like occult land and like weird yucky land, right? But I'll take these two, and right, we can right feel good about like who we are, right? As children of God, right? As people who like don't appreciate the way Quentin Tarantino treats people, and I can understand that he is flawed, right? That he's like struggling with this idea of being broken by divine decree. That's right. That is a hard pill to swallow, to be sure. But no more not processing it. Right? I'm not saying that I deserve to tie up and fuck Sydney Sweeney and Mikey Madison, but if that's what they needed to feel good about that film, right? Then Quentin, then that's like, it's a crime, isn't it? Right? Like if he wrote that script a certain way and there's like quasi-sexual scenarios, like, no, you got to be like on the level, 100%, on that union job with a $20 million tax credit. Right? And on a fundamental level. Right? On a fundamental level. Right? They say, oh, hot guy, like, oh, I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him before you. You get it? Right? So that it's because of me that, like, he wants to do, right? Right? And so that's, like, that's really heartbreaking, you know? For him to, like, stifle that and, like, make it about his control completely. Instead of just, like, letting me submit to beauty in person, you know? All my flaws, all my faults, yes, like, yes, let's do it. I protect you. I make you feel good. You make me feel good. Right? But rather than do that, it's a convoluted mess of psychic control. And seeing the forest for the trees, I stayed in the light of day. You could say that I denied the purest part of my psychic understanding. You could also say that I accepted the truest part of universal understanding. That the light of truth, right? Doesn't Socrates, he says something about this somewhere, maybe in the Republic, one of those dialogues. He says you can get to wisdom. You can get to wisdom with no teacher, but it's much more difficult, or something to that effect. That through pure virtue, pure, right? There's the long and winding road, right? That's a dream. When it convolutes through the solstice and gyrus of the universal soul. But there's also the straight and narrow path to God. Right? Pilgrim's Progress. John Bunyan. Anyway. Quentin wanted to lead me astray. He wanted me to not make it about writing. He wanted me to make it about control. And I know that the women always loved that I never talked about them. Never. Right? But that's like, they said, oh, this is like, oh, if I go talk to him about me, then he'll have so much to say about me. You get it? Right? Really sweet, like loving, cool things. Like, yeah, he's hot. Maybe he thinks I'm hot and he'll like have a lot of nice things to say about me and my contributions to the film. You get it? Right? Do you really get it? Right? How fucked up that is. Right? So now they're done. They're done. No more Hollywood. No more movie star. It's all yucky. There's no trust, right? It's nothing but systems of control, right? And they have a radiant white angel that's like right there, right at the periphery, just looking in, like blasting divinity, like all over that city, saying, "Where are mine? These two are mine." Right? And so again, we have to analyze things scientifically, right? I don't say that because I have amorous feelings of love for them. I say that as a result of the psychiatric condition that Quentin has created in their minds. That's the point. That they had a primal, physical, psychological urge to come, right, express their gratitude for my contributions to the film. You get it? Right? And so Quentin, in denying that, made them think about it up here, where he conceives. You get it? Are we getting it? And so now that all this time has passed, where I have been maintained as a psychic staple in both of their minds, right? That now we've crossed into, like, since long ago, right? We've crossed into the realm of, like, true long-term, like, psychiatric condition, you know? That's the point for all of us, right? And so for me, I thought it was all about Quentin. I thought that he was just, like, sick, and I thought that everyone was evil. That's like what I thought for a long time. And so now I'm saying that, oh, maybe the actual truth is that only Quentin is evil and all the women are miserable. That actually does, like, make a lot of sense, you know, that now that it is like that is, like, technically possible, like, on some level, that I'm not, like, cunning enough to, like, be able to explain completely, where he's preventing them from coming to me because he's scared of me, like, as a practitioner, and knows that he's been awful to them and that they're going to start crying and say, "Please, I'll give you whatever you want. Just, like, be my confessor and, like, protect me and, like, keep me safe from him." Right? And all these things, right? And so now that I'm considering that they have been all but held hostage from coming to me and saying, you know, we think maybe it's cool that, like, you burned him, and, like, we never wanted to do this movie, and so we'd like you to, like, consider, right, like, being good to us because we're the ones who loved your letter. Like, you get what I'm saying right now, right? That by preventing them from coming to me, right, he's created this condition in their minds, in my mind, which I'm only seeing in full now, to where now we have to be together. That's the point, right? We have no hope psychologically, right? Psychiatrically, spiritually, emotionally, sexually, right? Physically, yes, it will deteriorate our bodies. It will give us cancer, all these things, right? And so he knows that too, you know. He knows that it was always going to lead to us being together, if that's, like, what it's about, right? Or I'm going to blow my head off, and they'll kill themselves eventually too, right? That we can set up our own lives, like, outside of Hollywood, like, God, like, fine, you know, like, psychic occultism is cool, like, we're outside of the system, you know, like, that's, like, I know they're good with that, right? Right? No one in that system has the right to keep us apart, right? No one has the legal authority to prevent me from seeing them, right? From knowing them, from having no barriers between us, right? I believed that Quentin and everyone around him were all just trying to kill me. That's, like, what I believed for a long time. That he had everyone around him helping him in this campaign because he wanted my scene for free, and he's a fucking wicked, awful, evil man. And if the truth is that is true, but the reason that he's behaving this way is because there are women who, like, desperately want to be with me and me alone because I'm the only man that can protect them, right? Then I have to keep going. I have to keep fighting, like, for them. Right? Not because, like, I want to or have anything else to say. I'm saying the same thing every time, right? But because he's destroying their minds, like, a little more each day, right? They don't feel good about themselves, right? They feel disgusting. They're disgusted with themselves. Every time they look themselves in the mirror, they say, well, I know at least one man who loves me, but I can't see him, who, like, actually, genuinely loves me, that, like, wants me as a psychic witch, you know, not as a hot Hollywood slut, you know? So, I don't know what else to say. I don't really know what else to say. I suppose I should start writing. Ring pops. if this is about, right, like my point is that like it's obviously about the women. It is about the women, that they always got excited sexually, spiritually, emotionally, like reading my material, like seeing me and considering me, especially after like I sang and like did Hamlet and they saw that I'm a real actor. Then, right, it's done. It's done. The movie's a failure. Right? There's no spiritual light in those scenes. Right? That's the point. Right? There's no esoteric fire in any of those scenes. Right? Therefore, that bile disseminates into every frame. Right? And so, everyone's going to say, no, I don't like it. Once Upon a Time was better. It was too disgusting. It wasn't funny. Right? And so this isn't to mention, right, what they are telling people. Like, have they, like, right? Like, are they, right? Like, is it really just like, right? Is it fear? Like, have they, right? I find it hard to believe that they wouldn't be, like, telling everyone around them how disgusted they are with the film, how it wasn't fun, how they didn't want to do it. But if they're being held in a quasi-criminal fashion, then it makes sense that they haven't made any statements, that they've only gone out for these like very few rare instances, right? Because he can't keep them without like seeming like he's holding them, right? And exacts the same sadistic torture he puts upon me, upon them as soon as they leave. Right? Then we have to help them get in front of me, you know? Not because they're hot, but because they need to get out. That's the point, right? And so no one else understands, right? Everyone else in Hollywood just submits their mind and doesn't think about what it represents emotionally, intellectually, or spiritually. But they're so broken as a result of his campaign. And I'm the only one who can like actually like protect them. That's the point, right? As a child of God, as a clairvoyant, right? As a psychic. So, God bless.